Hello, Fort Mill. I'm glad to be back with you. My name is Mr. Young. I'm your career development facilitator. And today we have Miss Yoder coming from Winthrop University. She's going to talk to us a little bit about the admissions process from a general standpoint. We know we're celebrating National Career Development Week this week, and college can be a great way to help jumpstart your career. So, Miss Yoder, once again, thank you, and we welcome you for being here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very honored to be here. Like you had introduced, my name is Lauren Yoder. I'm an admissions counselor here at Winthrop University, and specifically the territories. I am part of this greater Rock Hill area. So if any students reach out or need anything about Winthrop, I'm their counselor. So this is a name to the face. And I'm excited to talk more about this admissions process and the next steps to further education.
Excited. So I'd say, well, we're going to hop right into it. Um, so, first question: what are the top three steps students should take in their college search?
So I would say that it's kind of hard to narrow down steps, but I will say it in general, it kind of depends on the student. Students are going to want to narrow down their choices based off of whether it's location, school size. Sometimes it could be based off of tuition purposes. But the number one factor that we have had students share with us that decides where they would like to go is visiting a campus. Definitely schedule to visit a campus, schedule it for more than one time, because each time you go, you'll get a different feel and you'll really get to experience what it's like at that college or university.
One of the reasons why I really appreciate that is actually the reason why I ended up at Winthrop University. I had my heart set on going to another institution until I saw it, and it just didn't feel right. But once I visited Winthrop, I was like, this is where I need to be. So, students, that's a great piece of advice that you just heard. Now, our next question: when is the best time to begin the college search?
So you can begin the college search at any point. I do recommend the earlier the better because it can be very overwhelming knowing that there are so many colleges and universities within South Carolina, but outside of South Carolina. So if you start sooner, you'll be able to narrow down those fields. But if you haven't started yet, now's a great time. Just start to find out your hobbies, your interests, what you're looking to study, what you would like in a college or school that you would like to attend. And it's never too early to start.
That sounds good. And so we definitely want you to be ahead of the curve. But we know sometimes we can fall behind just a bit. So, what about our seniors? If they're a senior and they just don't know where to begin, what can you tell them?
First, I would tell all the seniors to just take a breath. It's okay. It's a big year in itself. There's a lot going on, but there are so many people here that can help you, whether it's going to your school counselor, speaking with your career development counselor, having them find out some of your hobbies and your interests, like I had mentioned, to help you figure out what you'd like to study in school. And then even figuring out the schools you are interested in and contacting us admissions counselors. We love to talk to students. And even if they are, I don't even know where to begin, we'll sit with you, we'll schedule a Zoom or a phone call and walk you through those steps because we just want you to be successful and to go on to higher education.
Absolutely. Now, in that application, we know that there's two components, and the biggest one, I would say the biggest one, but one major component is the standardized test score, the ACT
Mhm.
or the SAT score. Let's say that their score isn't great, but it's not bad. Should they submit that score if the college doesn't require it?
So that is something that I would recommend calling the school's admissions office and speaking with an admissions counselor because they'll be able to guide you further on that and let you know if it would affect an admissions decision or any scholarship opportunities. And I do know that there are schools that, like Winthrop, we do have SAT, ACT scores, or you can be test optional. And it is an essay that you would write instead of those test scores, but we weigh them the exact same.
Good. Now you hit on a couple of really good topics that I definitely want to address. Um, for our students who want to go to college but they're not sure that they can afford it, how does the entire financial aid and scholarship process work?
Yes. So financial aid encompasses a lot. There's a lot that comes with it, but they are able to help students find an affordable pathway to school, to attend their school. And it's important to know one thing is there are deadlines that students have to meet. One in particular, the FAFSA form, the free application for federal and student aid. Our financial aid office highly recommends students completing that because you can get some financial assistance at the state and government level. And in addition to that, you will want to know scholarship deadlines, if there are any of them. For example, at Winthrop, we have a scholarship deadline of February 1st. And as long as students have turned in and submitted all of their required application materials, they're automatically in the running for some of our merit-based scholarships. And financial aid will help put packages together for students, and those usually for colleges go out in March so that students are able to see how they can pay for school and the options that they have. And if they want more information or have any questions, reach out to the financial aid office. Again, there are resources there, counselors there that are here to help, and we want to help you. So don't be afraid to ask questions.
That's awesome. And I think I'd say it can be a very intimidating process. So students, please, please, please use the resources that are afforded to you, whether that's with us or with the college financial aid offices. Please use them, okay? Um, the other topic that you hit on was about the college essay. And I know some of our students are a little scared about writing an essay, or maybe just frankly don't want to write one. Uh, but what makes a great college application essay?
So what makes a great college application essay is when students use their own voice and write off of their experience or answering the prompt, not as what they think the schools would like to hear, but more so about themselves. Think of it as just you're writing and answering a prompt for school. And how would you write that? Don't write it just geared towards, okay, this is what I think they want me to say. We just want to see good quality writing. And I also recommend having somebody read the essay before you submit that, whether it's a friend or even ask a teacher if they have a chance to read it, so that you can make sure grammar is correct, verbiage is also on par, and then everything is making sense.
That is excellent. Your English teachers will be great people to help edit your essays, help you to review them. That's really sage advice. Thank you so much. Um, Now, how about how many colleges should our students be applying to? I remember when I was coming through, and it was you want to find your three.
Mhm.
School that you know you're going to get into, maybe a stretch, and then a fallback. But is there a certain number that exists now?
There is no specific research done or a certain number saying, hey, this is how many you should apply to. But again, if you start your search early, you'll be able to narrow it down from like 20 to top 10 to maybe top 5 by the time you're a junior, and can further narrow that down as you're a junior, going and seeing those colleges. I would say, like you had mentioned, have that 3, that plan to where you really would like to go, and then some other schools too, because you want to have options and not put all your eggs in one basket, and always have kind of that backup as well.
That's great. That's great. Now, we've been talking specifically about four-year schools.
Mhm.
What about our two-year colleges, and what should they consider before applying to a two-year school?
So there are a few things to consider before applying to a 2-year school. 2-year schools are great. They also help financial wise, but some things to keep in mind. One in particular is scholarships. Sometimes the scholarships that you can be awarded will be a little different. And the other thing to keep in mind is once you go to a 2-year school, if you go to another school, you would be considered a transfer student. So there's a whole other application process with that, and certain requirements to meet for being a transfer student. And another big key thing that we like to remind students is make sure whatever classes you are taking at your 2-year college will all transfer to the next school that you are planning to attend. And you are able to talk to your current counselor as well as wherever you're looking to transfer to get all the information to make sure your classes will transfer there. And if you have a class that won't, you may still have time to switch so that everything can transfer and set you up for success. And if a class doesn't transfer, it's not the end of the world. It just means you'll take another course added on while you're at your new school.
And the challenge with transferring, in addition to making sure that the credits transfer, is that now you have to make sure that the culture and the fit of that new institution is what you want. I've heard before some stories of students say, "Well, I'm going to go to this 4-year school and then transfer to another 4-year school."
Mhm.
And I've always found that to be a little hard to do. It's not impossible, but it definitely is a challenge.
Yes.
Um, Now, of course, our students aren't going to college just to go to college. They're looking for a career later on. How can students turn their college experience into a career?
So that is a great question. I loved when I got this list of questions that you had put that one on there because there's it's just like the possibilities are endless. So yes, while you go to college, you are taking classes, you're learning more about yourself, growing into the person that you're going to become. But it's what are you going to do after you graduate, after college? Many colleges and universities have a office of career development and internship. They will work with you. You can get an internship as you are taking classes. Many students are able to graduate and go into a full-time career through wherever they were interning at. And the other option too is there are on-campus jobs where you can work as you are a student. And then if there's a possibility once you graduate to continue to work at the school that you are attending, I currently have many colleagues that have worked in the admissions office while they were students here at Winthrop and have now made a full-time career out of it and absolutely love their time. And just, it's something special that you are able to do.
Yes, and I will say for a while that was my story. I was a Winthrop ambassador, maybe not the best ambassador, but I was there, and then became an admissions counselor. I'd say it's a great segue into a future career. So students keep that in mind. The last question that we have for you today is, what should ultimately determine a student's college decision?
So the student should determine their college decision. It's something that you need to take into heart and consider and not let any outside factors affect your decision, whether it's you're going somewhere that maybe not many of your friends are going, or it's not where your parents had attended. It's you need to find your niche. And a good way to do this is, again, go on a tour. When you step foot on that campus, does it feel like home? Because you may be here for 4 years or further if you continue your education and want to get your master's. You want to make sure that you are somewhere where you feel you belong and it is your home away from home. So just write lists of pros and cons and again, tour those campuses and just take time to reflect yourself and say, where can I see myself going for the next few years?
Miss Yoder, you have given us a great interview. Thank you so very much for your time. I know that our students are going to be able to glean great information and knowledge from this. Students, stay tuned. We will have more interviews with great professionals like Miss Yoder. In the meantime, once again, we thank you. I'm a homer, so big ups to Winthrop, and we will see y'all next time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.